People who born deaf. How's your inner voice sound? Are you just speak sign long in your head? I asked my niece this. She said she had an inner voice, but it was more a feeling than a voice. She described it as feeling the vibrations from loud music. When she had her surgery, and she heard voices for the first time, her inner voice adapted. Not deaf. But my brother is. I remember when we were in our teens on a family vacation and I caught him signing to himself when he was bored. The first time I saw it I thought he was telling me something, but I noticed he wasn't making eye contact and it made no sense. That is when I realized he was thinking to himself. After that, my family and I wouldn't watch when we noticed him doing it, since we figured it wasn't fair to know what he was thinking at times when the same couldn't be said for him. My mom is profoundly deaf and I asked her this same question. Totally not a stupid question. She said she thinks in ASL. I have caught her signing to herself just like I sometimes talk to myself. A neurologist named Oliver Sacks wrote a book called Seeing Voices. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/seeing_voices. It was prescribed reading when I studied South African Sign Language. It might give some insights to your question. For the first 5 years of my life I was technically deaf. I couldn't hear anything. I remember thinking by closing my eyes and imagining the thing I wanted to think. So I would close my eyes and see my own imaginary world. I can still do it, but only in complete silence. It's a trait I will forever hold, but I'm not mad at it. It can be very helpful in some situations. Edit. A lot of people are wondering, so I'll put it in the post. My eardrums collapsed during birth, so when I was around 5 I had a surgery to fix them. Not sure how they did it or if the doctors are still doing it on people, but I'm grateful they did it to me. Hi. Born profound deaf person here. Sorry for the long post. OMGO_. Before I got surgery for my cochlear implant, before learning ASL, I don't exactly recall knowing about any mental functionalities, like using a thinking voice. Most of my mental uses were reimagining images in visual thoughts. If I wanted a hot dog, I'd visualize a hot dog. Besides that, my dreams were like silent films. And 95% still often are silent even after my surgery to help me hear. After that and being able to hear for some years. At some point, I developed an inner voice, which just doesn't have any clear vocal sound to it yet. At the same time, kind of does. Kinda weird, hard to explain. It's a jump between muffled, speaking, sound as I think, and hollow echoes for my normal thinking voice. And when I read fiction with characters. For those who have preset voice, I reimagine them in my head as to how they would act it out in. It would sound just like the tone I'd hear from the media they're from. For the stories that aren't adapted into any audio format, I make them up in my head and try to make them sound distinct if I felt like it. Haha. My friends, non-see, have told me they either don't mentally see, hear, anything at all and have no idea the concept I'm trying to explain, or they visualize floating hands signing to them in their mind space. I don't think in the latter at all. Except when there are signs I'm trying to remember, reference. Also, side note by the way. Back to my dreams thing. I sometimes dream them with semi-transparent CC subtitles hovering what I'm seeing. Sometimes at the bottom or near people's heads, like in some video games, just without the speech bubbles. Or none at all. But my dreaming brain narrates my dreams to me, telling me info somehow? IDK if that's a deaf thing though. But I've always found how I dream kind of fascinating. The very rare sounds I hear in my dreams is kind of hard to explain as well. I can't tell if they were close to authentic. to a deaf person with hearing. That my brain produced for my dream, or just my brain trying to reimagine the sound in my mental voice while I dream? But it felt like there was legit real sound to it. But on the disorienting, surreal side. Edit to add clarifications before I head to sleep now. Asterisk I was 2.5 when I got the surgery. Fairly early into my human development. So my time with cognitive learning before that was very limited, fuzzy. Asterisk I do think in clear sentences in my head at my current point in life. Sometimes accompanied with pictures, motion pics. Like GIFs. Sometimes. Other times only words. I read aloud, the text a lot of things I read. I have to manually force my mind to shut up and read, but then I lose a lot of brain processing information if I read too quickly and don't retain anything I just read. Lol. So I'm a slow reader. Redditors who have been in actual physical fights with other people, what started it? My friend allegedly spent too much time looking at another dude's girlfriend at a party. And somehow the correct response to this was to sucker punch me in the face. Drunk guy didn't like my face. Completely understandable, but no need to punch me about it. There's been a few. One good one was a kid that harassed me in high school. He would always sit behind me and poke me with his pencil. One day I had enough. Stood up and tipped his desk over with him in it. It was the kind that the seat was part of the table. Next day he poked me so hard with a pencil it drew blood, so I punched him in the face. Then we fought. It got broken up by the teacher. Neither of us ended up getting in trouble for either incident. Another was over a girl. Her ex. Who she wasn't totally over. And me. Her new boy toy. She started drama on purpose, which in hindsight. Massive red flag. Anyway, we ran into each other at a party and she just starts escalating. And we fought for a bit. It got broken up by some other people. Usually alcohol. I worked as security at a campus bar when I was younger. A lot of testosterone mixed with alcohol caused a lot of very stupid people to make very poor choices and try to fight the bouncers. Pro tip. If a bar has bouncers, they are used to trouble and there's most likely more than one and they're probably bored. Not a good idea to start trouble with one. I worked as a security guard, so had some fights. Well, mostly we tackled drunk aggressive people. In high school a girl was leaning in the ask me a question at lunch. At that exact moment there was a fly near my face. Reached up to swat it away and accidentally hit the girl in the eye with my finger. Her boyfriend jumped up and raced over, screaming about me hitting his girl. I did not have much chance to put up a fight before he hit me and I woke up a little bit later. I recall hearing her tell the guy that it was an accident. And my parents pressed charges. No idea what happened to that guy except that he dropped out later that year. Who is the author you have read the most books from? R.L. Stine. I think more than 50, if not 60, including his autobiography. Terry Pratchett. What with his many, Discworld, https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/discworld books. Rick Riordan. He made the Percy Jackson series and all of those. I love those books. Probably James Patterson while in prison. They're the most sought-after books in lockup due to quick chapters and thrills. Getting the whole Alex Cross story was like collecting every Pokémon. I saw a fight break out because someone was found to be hoarding them in his cell. But I also found Michael Crichton there, which was less sought after and gave me a love for reading. Also, romance novels are huge there for the spankbank material. Or at least this was the reading culture in 2002 prisons. Honestly, it might still be Enid Blyton. Simply because she wrote so much and I read a ton as a kid. I wonder how I'd like the books now. Brandon Sanderson.
Subscribe, my brothers.